Let's now focus on Germany. It was once forced to disarm. Its military power was stripped after World War II in a way. Decades later, the same country is now building one of the most powerful armies in Europe. What about its weapons? From tanks in Ukraine to jets in Yemen, it is reshaping and fueling conflicts around the world in a way. German Leopard tanks have helped Ukraine immensely against the Russian forces. And considering Germany's role as a driving force in NATO, it's no surprise really that its defense industry has been ramping up production of weapons on a scale not seen in decades. Since the war in Ukraine started in 2022, Germany has not just supported Kiev, it has also reinforced its own military strength. And as a result, German weapons manufacturers are seeing record orders. Rheinmetall, for instance, is expected to produce 350,000 artillery shells a year by the year 2027. Germany is now the fifth largest arms exporter in the world. A growing engine for its economy, but German weapons are shaping conflicts far beyond Europe. Once known for its rather cautious arms export policy, Germany is now loosening restrictions and expanding output. And there is a reason for those restrictions, by the way. After World War II, the Allies did not want Germany to have an army, let alone build and export weapons. That history explains Germany's strict laws today. Every export requires government approval, covering just about everything from tanks and warships to firearms and fighter jets. The rules basically differentiate between weapons and war weapons. Each category is subject to different levels of scrutiny. So who is buying German weapons is the immediate question. Let's get you the answer. Its closest allies, for one, and countries considered like-minded. In fact, the list including Ukraine, Singapore, India, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. According to German news outlets, before exporting, Berlin is meant to consider, is the recipient in a conflict? Is it defending itself, like Ukraine, for example? Are there security risks for Germany? And what is that country's human rights record? Do all recipients pass that test? Short answer being no. Just take the Eurofighter Typhoon jet, for example. It's been popular in West Asia, sold to Qatar and Saudi Arabia reportedly, and it's been crucial in the war in Yemen. A Saudi-led, Western-backed coalition, including the UAE, has fought the Houthis there since 2015, remember. That war has triggered a humanitarian catastrophe. Over 400,000 civilians killed. Widespread human rights violations. Despite this, German weapons continued to flow to Saudi Arabia, a clear contradiction to Germany's own export principles. After the murder of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018, Germany imposed an arms embargo on Riyadh. But investigations, reportedly including one by DW in 2019, found that German parts and systems were still used in Yemen, reportedly. We are talking about warships, combat jets, tanks, and armored vehicles. That embargo has since been lifted because of political calculations, reportedly. But some say, others point out saying that it's because of the Ukraine war and Germany's search for new energy partners after banning Russian oil and gas. And that means looking to West Asia. But it's not just Europe or Yemen. If you trace Germany's arms exports on a map, you will find connections across the world. German weapons have reached conflict zones on nearly every continent. Not all of them known for strong human rights records, by the way. And then there's the exception here, that's Israel. Historically speaking, Germany has been committed to Israel's security, a commitment rooted in its complicated past. In the Holocaust, and even today, reportedly, Israel's security remains a pillar of German foreign policy. Between 2019 and 2023, Israel received 69% of its arms from the United States, 30% from Germany. But after the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack and Israel's retaliation in Gaza, Germany's exports to Israel skyrocketed reportedly, but then Israel's war stretched into 2 years of relentless bombardment with over 68,000 Palestinians killed. A UN investigation accused Israel of genocide, and among the weapons used were German-made systems. The Merkava tank, used by Israeli military in its operations in Gaza, reportedly are powered by German engines. The Matador anti-tank system, reportedly used by IDF soldiers against Palestinian establishments, are German-made. The SAR 6 class corvettes, used to enforce Israel's sea blockade of Gaza, reportedly blocking humanitarian aid and carrying out strikes, are German-built. But when Israel announced its ground offensive on Gaza, something shifted in a way. Germany emerged as one of Israel's sharpest critics. And in a major policy reversal, Germany suspended arms exports to Israel. On the other hand, the war in Ukraine continues as it drags on. Germany's nervousness, in a way, as is the case with all NATO member states, is also increasing. So does Germany's determination to actually strengthen its defense capacity and arm its allies? And as a result, Germany's checks and balances continue to be put to question. And as it produces and exports more weapons than ever before, those lines are starting to blur in a way. In the end, Germany may no longer be waging wars, but its weapons are fighting them around the world. Tokyo has been host to a sport that mixes competitiveness with sustainability. And the result was pure gold for Team Japan. The hosts have clinched the 2025 Trash Picking Sports World Cup. What started out in Japan back in 2008 with the slogan, "Trash picking is a sport," has now transformed into a world championship. It's basically a mashup of sport and the Japanese word for garbage. Teams from 33 countries hit the Tokyo streets this year. The goal was to collect as much trash as possible, sort it smartly, and score points along the way. Each team of 3 got 45 minutes to gather litter and another 20 to sort it. And the game is not just about weight, it's also about what you pick. Cigarette butts score you 50 points for every 100 grams, for example. Plastic bottles, 25. And if the team grabs something like a rice cooker or fire extinguisher, then they will lose 100 points, and the rules are strict. There is no running, no player in a team can be more than 10 meters apart, no trash can be collected that is already in the bins. Each group even has an official referee monitoring them. Japan's team collected nearly 75 kilograms of trash, earning over 7,000 points to take home the crown. Germany finished second, Morocco third, and together all teams cleared almost 880 kilograms of rubbish from Tokyo streets. The British team won the inaugural litter picking World Cup trophy back in 2023 and finished 13th this year. In the end, Team Japan did not just win gold, they proved that trash picking, like any other sport out there, that blends teamwork, strategy, physical activity, can also make cleaning up both fun and competitive. On to Bangladesh now, where the country has dropped its plan to hire music and physical education teachers in primary schools reportedly, a move believed to be taken after strong protests from Islamist groups who called it un-Islamic. This reversal marking a sharp shift from the US government's earlier vision, which aimed to include cultural learning like music and dance alongside religious and academic studies in public schools. But now the Ministry of Primary and Mass Education reportedly confirmed that the posts for music and physical education teachers will be removed from the government's recruitment rules. The decision mirroring Taliban-style restrictions on music and cultural studies reportedly. Islamist groups including Jamaat-e-Islami and Islami Andolon Bangladesh condemned the plan. They called it an anti-Islamic agenda. They also claim it would corrupt the values of children and make them lose their faith. At rallies in Dhaka, religious leaders warned that they would take to the streets if the Yunus government did not withdraw the plan. Many speakers accused the administration of promoting atheistic philosophy. Analysts saying that this is not the first time the interim government has bowed down to hardline pressure. Earlier as well, it backtracked on women's reform initiatives after threats from Islamist groups. It's likely that the growing influence of Islamist forces could weaken Bangladesh's secular identity, as it was a nation once celebrated for its rich cultural and religious diversity. For now, the decision stands. Music and sports will stay out of classrooms, and Bangladesh reportedly continues to struggle between modern reforms and conservative resistance. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.